Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Work Your Wellness Biz podcast. Today is a coaching call episode where my guest actually puts me in the hot seat and gets to ask me questions about whatever they're curious about. And I don't know what we're talking about today. So welcome Ashley Kitchens back to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about today? What's on your mind?
I love that you're in the hot seat. Okay. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on like Reels, TikToks. I feel like they're like very popular. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do them. Like, I just want kind of like your feedback.
Yeah.
I don't know, your thoughts on those things.
My thoughts. So yes, they are very popular. Well, depending on who you ask, some people hate Reels and some people like you and me, because I know you do Reels. Since I follow you and I see your Reels. And so it kind of depends on the person. But in general, yes, I do think Reels are popular. And TikTok also really took off, I feel like last year, 2020. And more people, especially entrepreneurs, are kind of hopping on there. But I know there's also some resistance. Like some people are like, ew, it's another platform. It's another app, or it's only teenagers. And I'm like, I have like very few teenagers in my feed. Like it really customizes the algorithm, like really adapts to what you're interested in. So my thoughts are everyone who's on Instagram. Well, first of all, I feel like most everyone, that's a broad generalization, but I feel like most business owners should be on Instagram. And I feel like you should be doing Reels because one, video content is being prioritized on every platform. Facebook, Twitter, even LinkedIn has LinkedIn stories now. And I know Instagram.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I get like a little note. I log into LinkedIn like 2 or 3 times a week. And the last few times I've logged in, it's like, David shared a story. And I'm like, that's nice. I don't want to watch it. I'm not into that. But Instagram, I don't know, but from what I've heard, they prioritize any like new feature, like users that use their new stickers, their new story features, like, oh, you can do this in stories now. You can do Reels now. They prioritize those posts. So it's just going to help your account. And so I think it's only going to benefit you and your account if you lean into those new features. And I know always at first, like, especially with Reels, I feel like people were like, so like how, like literally from a technical standpoint, how do I use this? But also from like a strategy or content, like how do I use it? Like, what is this supposed to do? What's it supposed to look like? Like there's a lot of hesitation. And I feel like I'm kind of what they call like an early adapter in like marketing, when it's like someone who just is like, ooh, the new thing. Okay. I'm going to try it out, buy it, whatever. Like, I'm not one that's like, oh, I'm going to wait a year to like do a reel. Mm-hmm. And so I think it only benefits people to do reels. And I think, I know you have said that since you've started doing, not that you just started Reels, but since you started Reels, it's really helped your account. So I'd love to hear, like, if you want to share like how it's benefited you.
Yeah, it actually surprisingly has. And it's been more recent because I was hesitant, because what I was doing is I was doing TikToks and repurposing them, putting them on Reels. But I found that wasn't like super helpful. And I was still like hesitant to do Reels. But the past couple of weeks, I've committed to trying to do them more often. And for some reason, like once I do one, I'm kind of in the mood to do another one, and I'm in the mood to do another one. So it's kind of easy to like just throw them all together like in a few hours to batch them out for the week or the month or whatever. And I have found in the past few weeks of doing Reels more consistently, and by consistently, I mean like 3 to 5 a week, like my account has grown a tremendous amount. My engagement has grown a lot, which I was like, okay, well, maybe there is something to this. So I feel like that's kind of propelling me forward. It's like, oh, I'm seeing, some results from putting in some work here, and it's kind of paying off.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the kind of bummer part, what you mentioned about like, I also used to repurpose TikToks for reels. And then Instagram kind of was like, if we see TikTok watermarks on your videos, like we're not going to show them as much. And I was like, well, that's kind of sucky. Like we're still using your feature. Like we're still uploading. So I don't know why you have to be like that. But I also used to do that. And now that's kind of, there's workarounds, but it's complicated and it decreases the quality and like all that crappy stuff. So I know like you do both and I do both. So if anyone's curious if they should do both.
Yes, I would actually like to know your thoughts on this.
So I do both Reels and TikTok. I will say I'm much more consistent on Reels just because Instagram as a whole is like my kind of main platform. TikTok, I feel like I'm still experimenting with. Like, I feel like I haven't seen a lot of traction on it personally, but I don't want to give up on it. And so I'm still kind of trying to like find my groove over there. I still think it's really fun, just like Reels. But right now I had a video go viral last year and it got over like 1 million likes, but it was not a business video. It was a video about how my husband and I don't share blankets like in bed. Like we have two separate blankets.
Yeah.
And it like went like crazy. And I didn't get thousands of followers. I got like hundreds of followers, but now I feel like now I have a bunch of followers who are not interested in my business stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of a bummer. But I'm not giving up on it. In fact, right now, while we're recording this, I'm doing like a 30-day like series for business owners. Like I find that like when I give myself like parameters of like, I'm going to do this like 30-day thing, like it helps me rather than just like, oh, I'm just going to like come up with content. Like, yes. I don't know. I'll just post whenever I can. Like if I give myself like, okay, I'm going to do this, that'll help. So yeah, but to answer your question about like, should you do both or whatever, I think it really comes down to your time. And that's going to vary from person to person. Like I do have the time, I have the bandwidth to try both. Like I said, I'm a lot more consistent on Instagram. So it's not, I'm posting almost every day, not a reel every day, but posting something on Instagram every single day. TikTok, usually outside of this 30-day series that I'm doing, I'm not posting every day. But so if you have the bandwidth, I think it's worth trying. Like I definitely know for sure there are way more than just teenagers on the app. Like the algorithm adapts to like what you're interested in. Mm-hmm. So and like it changes kind of like on a weekly basis. Like you can get on, it's kind of what they call, I don't know if you've heard this, but it's like, oh, I'm on like cleaning TikTok. Or like, yes. I'm on like workout TikTok. So then like your feed becomes really full of like this one type of video. And so that's kind of the fun part is like what you're interested in. If you like this type of video, then you'll start seeing more of that in your feed. And like I've followed some dietitians because I see like some of you are over on TikTok. So I've like followed you and some others that I know over there. So then I have like dietitians and like nutrition things in my feed every once in a while. So I think it's really worth at least trying if you have the bandwidth. If you don't have the bandwidth, I don't think it's going to make or break your business. Like I would say really lean into like Instagram and Reels. Like if you already have a platform there, or if you're like, I'm just learning the ropes of Instagram, I'm like trying to be consistent there. Like that's another thing that like I already have the consistency and the strategy for Instagram. So it's not like I'm trying to learn Instagram and learn TikTok at the same time.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah. So like, I think it comes down to that. Like, what do you have the bandwidth for? Do you feel stable on Instagram? Like, cool, I can like, I know what I'm doing here and all that kind of fun stuff. Don't overwhelm yourself, but I would not write off TikTok just because, oh, it's just teenagers. Have you gotten any, have you seen any like traction from TikTok, like clients or email subscribers or anything like that?
Yeah, I've actually gotten several clients from TikTok, which is kind of cool. I wasn't anticipating that. Yeah. But I did something similar to you did back about 6-8 months ago. I was like, all right, I'm going to consistently post on TikTok for, it was like 60 days. And I did. And I got a lot of traction from that. But I also had more bandwidth back then. Right now, my attention is kind of going towards Reels because I feel like it's kind of helping with engagement and growing my account and meeting new amazing people. So I feel like, I definitely saw the fruits of my labor there. It's a little bit more inconsistent now, but it definitely paid off when I was consistent.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome. See, and that's what I like is you can start something or try something and just say like, I'm going to try this for 30 days or 60 days. Like I'm going to try blogging for 30 days or, that would be 30 days of blogging would be a lot if you're posting every day, but like, I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to start blogging or I don't want to start TikTok or Reels or whatever, because then I have to do it every day forever for the rest of my life. And I'm like, just try it. Like do it for a few months. If you don't see a payoff, then stop doing it. Like, like no one's really going to like notice because we are always more aware of our own content and our own, like whatever we're doing more than other people. So like, if you stop doing Reels, I might like on a random Tuesday be like, Ashley hasn't been in my feed for a little while doing Reels. And then like, that will be it. Like, I'm not going to be like, how dare Ashley stop doing Reels? Man, she couldn't keep up. That sucks. Like, like I'm not going to say anything like that. So it's just like, oh, okay. Like, I don't care. I might check in on you and be like, hey, Ashley, you okay? Like I haven't seen you doing Reels, but the normal people that we just follow and might not have like a relationship with, they're like, okay. Sometimes I go through like who I'm following and like, weed that out. And sometimes I'm like, hey, I follow them, but they haven't posted in a long time. And I like totally forgot about her. And then I go look and I'm like, oh yeah, they haven't posted in 6 months. Like, maybe they stopped doing Instagram or whatever. So I think trying Reels, trying TikTok, give it a shot for a few months and see how it pays off. Those are my thoughts.
So, so with I have a question about like, because you mentioned kind of your blanket story about how that went viral, but it wasn't necessarily like business related. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious because I have found that there are posts not related to, or like Reels or TikTok not related to my business that end up like going viral. But how do you maybe work on, I guess, figure out your messaging, like making sure that you are like putting your brand's message into like a short, like 7-second or 20-second video and getting that, I guess, to your audience? So
I think one thing is some people try to fit too much into like a Reel or a TikTok. Like, I don't think Reels are like necessarily the place where it's like, here are 10 tips for, like, if I tried to be like 10 tips for your website in one Reel, people are like, it's going to be too crazy. Now, like something for you, like an example for you that I think would be easier just because it's like easier to digest, pun intended, is like, dinner ideas. Like taco salad or like this lentil bowl, blah, 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 like all these things. Like, okay, that's like very easy to like read through, whatever. Me giving 10 SEO tips is a lot. So I think really like, okay, for one, that could give you more Reels ideas with like, okay, so maybe instead of 10, I can do like 2 or 3 in each. And then kind of what's your overall like brand message? Like if you had to sum that up in like 5 or 6 words and then just reinforce that, like if you can, it could be at the end of the reel or it could be in the caption, so like if it was for you, if it was like, I'm just going to make something up. Like, I know you already have a message, but like if it was like nutrition is easy, then you could be like, here's 3 dinner ideas. And then at the end, like nutrition is easy. Like, and it's just like the text on the screen. And then in the caption, you can talk about like, these are, nutrition is easy. Here's like 3 ideas that aren't complicated. You can do these in like 20 minutes or less, or these are 3 ingredients, or, like whatever. So I think coming up with some kind of short little phrase or tagline that you can incorporate, it doesn't have to be in every single video, but I think trying to kind of reinforce that in most of your videos or in the captions, I think would be good. And for, like you mentioned, videos that are maybe off topic, like more personal or fun, I think those are still good because we like to relate to people. And so, yes, a video about like going to get donuts or your workout this afternoon or whatever, like it's a little more personal, but we get to know you a little more. It may not have the reach as like the 5 dinner ideas, like save, reshare, whatever. I may not save or reshare like the personal video of you, but I might engage with you more. Or I might be like, oh, like Ashley seems really fun. Like she has dogs and she gets donuts and can you tell I watch your stories a lot? So I think those are like, we still want to know the person behind the brand. So I think adding those in, it doesn't necessarily have to be like always on brand, because then it's kind of like, well, who are you as like a person?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I like that.
And especially I was going to say, especially as dietitians working with your clients, that's a very vulnerable thing that they're kind of going through. And so they want to feel safe and like, okay, Ashley is someone that I can relate to. She seems nice and approachable. I feel like we have stuff in common. Like, great. Like, I will, like, this feels like a good decision rather than like, okay, like, I mean, I know Ashley knows her stuff, but I don't know if she's nice. Or like, is she approachable? I don't really know who I'm working with. So I think that's, another added benefit, just adding in those little bits of our personality or personal life.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Making like sort of relatable lifestyle posts. And then I like what you said about like you talking about the SEO of like maybe keeping the messaging simple. Cause like you're such an expert in that area. I feel like it'd be nothing for you to put, 10 things about SEO. But if someone like me, I'd be like, oh my goodness, please just one. So I think that's
one at a time.
Yeah. Like kind of going back to the basics almost, but like really simplifying it, not overcomplicating it. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So, and like I said, that could give you more ideas instead of having to like cram a bunch of stuff into one thing. Like,
yes.
How could you, like for me, I could separate the SEO into like SEO for images, SEO for blog posts, SEO for pages, like, whatever. So think about like, okay, if I'm doing these 10 tips for runners or for plant-based nutrition or for like moms, whatever, like, okay, how can I kind of break these up into like categories of like whatever? And you can also kind of cross promote, because you could say like, hey, like if you scroll back in my feed, my last reel, I talked about XYZ. Like, I know you probably have questions about this. So like for you, if you're doing meal ideas, you can be like, hey, PS, there's other reels with more ideas.
Yeah.
So then people keep going. Keeps people going through your content. And then if they're not already following you, they're like, oh, so like she talks about this a lot. So I like, great. I want more dinner ideas. I'm going to start following her. So yeah, it's another little hack. Yeah. So keep it short, but cross promote between them. That would be good.
Yeah. So I like that. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was fun. I know that we both like reels and TikToks. So yeah, I'm happy we got to chat about this.
Yeah, me too. I like learning more about them, and it was good to kind of get your input on some of that stuff. So
yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, so we can go watch your reels and your TikToks. Can you share what your handles are on those platforms?
My handle on Instagram is Plant Centered Nutrition. And then on TikTok, it's Plant Centered Prep.
Awesome. I will link to those in the show notes so you guys can go check out Ashley and all her fun reels, because she's very fun in her videos. So, and they have really great ideas. So be sure to check those out. But thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.